I'm gonna turn this around so you can see the people. Let me see. Where are we at? Gabrielle?
Do I need to move over?
No, you don't need to move over. I'm quite sure they should be able to see you. Okay, there's 2, 3, and then there's Money, my co-worker. Where you at, Money?
Right here.
Right there, 4. Okay, so we can turn this around, and we can get started.
That's it?
Well, pretty much, basically, yeah. Let me go over here, and I don't know. The thing about it is that she actually can't. Hey, Money, would you turn the lights off? Yeah, turn the lights off, then maybe we'll be able to see that a little bit better. Here, so we can kind of roll through this in a way.
More?
Oh well, nah, that's good. Cause I don't think it's gonna get any brighter than this actually. But I think me and all that Miss Moran actually wants to see is to make sure that I'm doing this and I'm doing this in front of people. And I'll probably have a question or two to ask you guys. Okay, well, okay, this is CST-100 speech class, right? my instructor is Deborah Moran. Of course, is at the end of the day, we're all kind of rushing trying to get this done. In any event, I'm gonna go through my 3 speeches. They have to be like about 5 or 6 minutes apiece. I'm gonna do 3 really quick. I actually have 4 to do. But in any event, let's get started. This is storing personal information. This is speech 1. This is supposed to be an informative speech. Okay, so we can get started. As far as the storing personal information, the question is really: have you ever had to leave your residence because of inclement weather, or were you ever in situations where personal documents were needed? I mean, you guys can answer so she can actually see that you're here. All right. So once again, have you ever had to leave your residence because of inclement weather?
Yes.
Anybody ever been in a hurricane and had to leave? Of course
Yes.
you have, because you've been to Korea. You probably always had to leave from over there somewhere. And were you ever in any situations where personal documents were needed and you didn't have them at your access already? You ever had anything like that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know that you said, mm-hmm. Okay. So anyway, we're going to move on. And what I'm going to talk about here, the first thing I'm going to talk about is that when you're in, you have situations that you're in dire need to get things done, like inclement weather or something like that, what people normally don't have, they don't have their information in an area where they can just grab it and they can go with it. Okay, a lot of times, because of certain situations, and you're just pressed with just getting what you can get and then getting out the door. And a lot of times what usually happens to us is that when we get to where we need to get to, as far as shelter and stuff like that is concerned, and people want documentation and information about yourself, you usually don't have that. Okay, so these are some things that I'm going to talk about today in this speech, and some things and some information that's important for you to save. And first I'm going to talk about what you should save, and then I'll talk about how you should save it, and then we can see the importance of that. Well, the first thing I want to get with is the bereavement and insurances, because loss of life requires information regarding a person's health and insurances. That's always important, and that's included as the directions and the dying wishes, because that should be in a will and testament. Your estate management, how you want your money to be spent, and then instructions for your family on what they should do and how they should do it. Okay, the next thing is personal information. That's some of the things that you want. So contrary to popular belief, people still save hard copies, and if you think about it, it can be very overwhelming in stressful situations, like I said before, because you just don't have time enough to get together all of the pertinent information that you need. That's one of the reasons why saving it is important, and it takes a lot of time to consume and gather your information, even to save it. So it's a kind of a timely process that you have to go through to even get this step done. Okay, and these are a few of the things that you need for your personal information. License and passports are always good, of course. Birth certificates and religious or spiritual records, social security cards and alien registration cards, organizational certifications, like if you are Masonically inclined or Special K or something like that. Governmental records, there's military, municipal, and state police, and of course your tax and your business information. That's the important information that other agencies are going to look toward getting from you, so that they can give you some kind of assistance, because it's good that you know who you are, but it's also even better that you can prove to somebody that you are who you say you are, because that's important to them. Okay, and these are a couple of more things that you should need to know. It's kind of best to locate your bereavement insurance papers and your educational and personal information, and scan them, of course, and save them to a CD or a DVD. Make multiple copies of them, and put them in some kind of fire or flood tamper-resistant container, preferably a safe or something like that you can actually buy from Walmart for about $50 or $60, and then have them readily available for you, that you can pick them up and go when it's necessary. Anybody have any questions concerning saving information? Okay, Gabby has a question. Go ahead.
Why is it more preferable to save it to a CD or a DVD?
Well, it's more preferable to save it to CD or DVD. So just thinking inclement weather. Most of the time we're thinking floods or something like that. You figure if you use a flash drive, I mean, if you drop it in water, it's an electronic board, so for all intent and purposes it's gone. But how many times have you actually used a CD or DVD and drop it, just pick it up and wipe it off and then play it? So that's one of the reasons why preferably you would save it to some kind of digital media like a CD or DVD.
Is there any kind of preferred CD that you would use, saying one that you can constantly write on?
Well, that's something that I had covered, and it actually comes from the hackers website. And when we say hackers, you actually think about it as some kind of improper use, but actually what they're talking about, hacking into your own information. And what they were saying that using a readable, writable disk is okay, because continuously you're gathering information that you need to store, you need to save. So RW disk is good, but the thing about that is that you always want to transfer it to just like a regular DVD or CD that's just a plus R or minus R, simply because you don't want the person who gets your information to mistakenly erase your information, because some people don't even know the difference between, you know, a read-write disk or just a write disk. You know. That's it. Go ahead, Mike.
Is it for the security purpose that you shouldn't save anything to like your email or anything?
I mean, you know, that's a good idea as well. But you figure that anything that you put out there on the internet is accessible by other people. So, I mean, you know, of course, like some things like your documentation or your pay stub or even your tax information for your business and stuff like that. Most people do online taxing and we're into it or something like that. So they'll always keep a copy of that, and that's good that you even mentioned that. That's a good point. But on the flip side of that, do you really want to, you know, put your birth certificate, your social security card, and all that kind of information out there on the internet, because it can be accessed by other people? That's it. Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.